and welcome to another episode of the Don't Get Me Going podcast. My name is Zoe Lulinski, and today we're just going to be talking about some of the big Week 4 news after these Sunday games. As I'm recording this, it is Monday, right after the Sunday games. I haven't seen the Monday night games. Super excited to get into those on the next podcast. But we're going to get into the big news, top stories after Week 4, and some of the injury reactions. I feel like there were a lot of injuries that happened this week, which is really unfortunate for a lot of the teams affected by it, but I'm super excited to get into this episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. The Commanders are 3-1 after through 4 weeks, which their first 4 games, I don't think they played really anyone that crazy, but really impressive, and they've looked way better than I expected them to. I honestly had them as a bottom half team in the league. I think most other people did, but if they continue to play the way they're playing with that offense, I think they could very easily sneak into wild card, if not win the division. I feel like that division usually, I feel like we've gotten so used to it. Like the past decade, it's always been Eagles or Cowboys. Eagles or Cowboys, But both of those teams, I don't think either of them have looked all that dominant. The Eagles, even against the Packers week 1, I don't think they've looked anything special. I know they have a lot of injuries right now, but that's affecting the entire league. The Commanders, though, they're 3-1, like I said. Then they look really good. Jayden Daniels looks like he's progressing really well. I think Cliff Kingsbury is doing a really good job at progressing him, which I wish could be said about Shane Waldron, but I'll get into a bit of that later once we talk about the Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels debate. I feel like that's a big topic right now, but the Commanders are looking really good. I think the only thing to worry about on that team right now is the defense, but the locker room chemistry is, I feel like, one of the best in the league right now, and they're on fire. They're 3-1, won their last 3 games, and they're looking really good. I want to see how they play against the Ravens with the defense that they have. And then they also, within the next 5 weeks, play the Bears and the Steelers, who also have, I would also say they're in the top 5, top 10 defense range as well. So that's going to be a big test for Jayden Daniels and that offense, which is going to be really exciting to see. I feel like so to get into the Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels debate, they're both the first and second picks of this draft this year. And obviously the Bears picked Caleb Williams first. Jayden Daniels went second to the Commanders. And already, after 4 weeks, there's a lot of comparing with them, but I think it's really hard to get into that without looking at both teams and their situations. Right now, Washington is putting Jayden Daniels at the best possible position to succeed. Not that they're simplifying it for him, but they're playing to his strengths and, treating him like a rookie, which I think should be done. Cliff Kingsbury is doing, like I said, a really good job at it. But Caleb Williams, it looks like, is being thrown right into a real, actual NFL offense right away, which is, of course, not something he's used to, as, he's the type of player that makes something out of nothing. And I think he's doing a really good job at it right now. I think it's hard to compare the 2 quarterbacks right now, and I think I would easily stand by the fact that Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the draft class right now and will continue to be until I am, for whatever reason, proven otherwise, but I don't think I will be. Caleb Williams had, a 53 passer rating within the first 2 weeks and has improved to around a 93 with this last game, week 4, yesterday. He had a 124 quarterback rating, which is an insane improvement in 4 weeks, which we didn't even see with Justin Fields in 3 years. Sorry for the dig on Justin Fields. I do love you, but anyway, Caleb Williams is looking absolutely. He's taking what he's getting, and I think he's making the most out of it, especially with the adjustments the offense has made. The news coming out the last week or so, they've talked about, how some of the offensive leaders have talked to Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, and just they want to be more aggressive and they want to play better, which I think it took a little while in this game for the Bears against the Rams, but that second half they looked really solid and really confident. which is really good to see. Like I said, I think Jayden Daniels is playing great, but Caleb Williams is also showing improvement and progression every single week, which is what you want to see from a rookie quarterback. You know, just, taking advantage of the situation. To get into more of the injury side of week 4, there were a lot of unfortunate ones, just some of the ones that I wrote down off the top of my head. Tevin Jenkins for the Bears ribs. He gets hurt multiple times a year. I haven't heard much of like what exactly it was, but he did not return to the game when he played with the Bears. Trey Hendrickson, I heard left the fourth quarter of the Bengals game with a neck injury. Rashee Rice, as we've heard, for the Kansas City Chiefs has, I think we've heard, a torn ACL, so he'll be out for the year, which is a tough blow for the Chiefs. I mean, they're already losing Marquise Brown for at least most of the year. And Xavier Worthy, one of their next up guys, is a rookie. So that's a lot to put on a rookie. And then, of course, I think the whole team's going to just have to revamp what they're doing with their weapons after losing those two guys. Anthony Richardson also went out, which is going to lead me to my next point here in a couple minutes, that it's tough. I don't think he should be out for too long. I think he'll probably be back next week, but that's tough. I mean, he got hurt last year too, so I think it's good the Colts have a guy like Joe Flacco behind him with experience and everything like he has. And then again, Christian Watson, another guy who gets hurt all the time, was out. Just a lot of tough blows for these teams. Tough to see. But to get into the backup side of things for the quarterbacks, Joe Flacco, led the Colts to a win this week over the Steelers, which the Steelers before that were 3-0, so they look really, really solid. Joe Flacco also looks like he hasn't missed a beat, and I think he's getting up there in age. I can't tell off the top of my head. I think he's near his 40s at least, if not in his 40s. So that's insanely impressive, and I think really cool to see. The comment made by Joe Flacco at the end of the game I thought was really funny. With he's only 8 days younger than Anthony Richardson's mom. Anthony Richardson, the quarterback for the Colts, and they both playing on the same team. I think that's really funny. Andy Dalton also, like I said in my last podcast, I think Bryce Young, the second-year quarterback for the Panthers who was benched, I think I just think he needs more development. I think he can still be a good quarterback in this league, but obviously is not ready to, take on the responsibilities right now. I mean, Andy Dalton has completely transformed that team. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, I still think they need some work to be done, but Andy Dalton has completely changed that team, and that's pretty impressive. And then just some of the teams that have really surprised me so far, the Jaguars are 0-4, the Vikings are 4-0, and the 49ers are 2-2. The Vikings, absolutely insane. I knew their division would be good with the Bears, Packers, and Lions, but I didn't expect them to be first. I expected them to be last, especially with Sam Darnold. They beat the 49ers and the Texans, which is, I thought the Texans and 49ers are both top 5, top 10 teams. I still do think they are, but holy shit, I did not expect the Vikings to be as good as they are, and they're looking really dominant. They just played the Packers. Obviously, they almost let them come back there in the fourth quarter, but looking really dominant, looking really, really good. One last thing I have for here as well is Torrey Taylor. Torrey Taylor was a 4th-round pick in this year's draft, and the Chicago Bears got a lot of slack for drafting him. He's a punter, which obviously spending a 4th-round pick on a punter does not happen a lot, but he is one of the sole reasons why the Bears won that game. He was averaging around 60 yards per punt, was just absolutely insane, and completely putting the Bears defense in a position to succeed, which I think is awesome. Really good to see after Trenton Gill last season, I think, caused the Bears special teams to struggle quite a bit. So that is absolutely awesome. I think he could end up being a big steal in the draft. So that's really awesome to see. I forgot to mention also, for injuries, Shaq Thompson on the Panthers tore his Achilles. That's a tough blow for the Panthers, who are already struggling this season. That's about all I have for this podcast this week. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys coming on here to listen again. Super excited for what's next. See ya.